from South Carolina, Ms. Mace, and a member opposed. Each will control 5 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentlewoman from South Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My amendment is straightforward. It would ensure the use of sex-specific spaces such as bathrooms, locker rooms, and changing rooms on military installations is based on biological sex, not ideology. Women in uniform deserve dignity, privacy, and absolute safety. Protecting women's spaces shouldn't be partisan, it should be common sense, but under the Biden administration, the federal government decided to abandon common sense that allowed men to enter women's spaces and violate their privacy and violate their dignity. Under President Trump, the government has restored basic biological truth. Men are men and women are women. I applaud the president for his commitment to protecting women, but a future administration could bring us right back to this insanity. The Biden administration sacrificed the dignity and safety of women to appease radical gender lunatic ideology. Our women in uniform shouldn't be forced to suffer indignities to appease the insane policies of the other side of the aisle, all the Democrats who support this nonsense. Allowing delusional men to use women's restrooms, locker rooms, changing rooms is an affront to women, and it's reckless. In Virginia, a registered sex offender with more than a dozen convictions was allowed to use the women's changing room by claiming he was a woman. For 6 months, he exposed himself to women and kids. This is who the left is defending today. Pedophiles and men that want to go in women's spaces and rape them, assault them, and expose themselves to little girls and our daughters. In California, a 17-year-old girl was terrorized by the presence of a man in her locker room while she showered. In Georgia, a 51-year-old man pretending to be a woman undressed in the women's restroom and exposed himself to shoppers. In Virginia, a girl was sexually assaulted by a biological male in a women's bathroom. In Oklahoma, a young woman was beaten for daring to say she was uncomfortable sharing a bathroom with a man. This is not theoretical. These aren't just random incidents. This is an epidemic. They are the natural, predictable consequence of policies which pretend biology doesn't matter. These are the policies of the left, the policies of Democrats that say follow the science, except for women, we don't care about you, we hate you, we want to take everything away from you. We won't follow the science on this one. We've opened the door for predators to abuse women and girls, our daughters. Our daughters are growing up with something we never had to distinguish when our generation was growing up. We're putting our daughters in imminent danger, in harm's way, and this has to stop. Women shouldn't be forced to share their private spaces with men, and this amendment says we're going back to reality. Privacy and safety matters, dignity matters, women matter, and I encourage my colleagues to protect all women. And I urge all members to support this amendment. I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentlewoman from South Carolina reserves. For what purpose does the gentlewoman from California seek to be recognized?
Mr. Chairman, I rise to claim the time in opposition to the amendment.
The gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield to myself such time as I may consume. Trans people, including trans service members, deserve basic human dignity and common decency of safely using the restroom. But besides that, let's take the gentle lady's point at face value. She wants to protect women. Great, so do I. Bathroom bans do not protect women. The Williams Institute at the UCLA School of Law even did a study on it, and there is zero evidence that allowing trans people to use the correct bathroom increases the risk to others. In fact, it's actually opposite. We have seen that cis women are harassed when people try and enforce or decree bathroom bans. Earlier this year, at a Buffalo Wild Wings in Minnesota, a server followed a teenage girl into the women's restroom and demanded she prove she was a girl. When the server didn't believe her, she unzipped her hoodie to show she had breasts. That is the actual reality of bathroom bans and even the idea of bathroom bans: harassment, discrimination, and body exams. We don't need service members acting like vigilantes to enforce this policy, either by surveillance, profiling, or physical inspections. Our service women go through enough. We shouldn't be inviting even more harassment. And we don't need this amendment opening up the Pentagon and the entire US government to a massive lawsuit. This isn't good policy. This doesn't protect women. This is based on misinformation, and I urge my colleagues to vote no. I reserve.
Gentlewoman reserves. Gentlewoman from South Carolina is recognized.
How much time remains?
2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ironic that my colleague says that women are harassed going into the bathroom. Well, that might be because nobody wants a transgender, tranny person in the bathroom with them. No one wants biological men in women's spaces. And because of this wacko ideology, not based in science, is now pervasive. We're teaching it in schools. We're forcing kids to use pronouns. And we want to protect women because the left has gone so far. Not just the left. This is mainstream Democrat policy going after our girls. And you heard my colleague say there's no evidence. Literally after I read evidence of incidences of trannies in private spaces assaulting women and underage girls, our daughters, kids, they say no evidence exists. That's because Democrats will not show you or tell you or share with you the facts. But the average American, we see it every day now. It's everywhere. And people are sick and tired of it. And if they want this harassment to stop, then the trannies need to stop harassing the rest of America. This is not what the American people want. It's not what they voted for. And they say that our service members, our service women in uniform go through enough. You're right. That's why we don't want this happening. That's why we want to protect them in their most intimate moments in the dressing room. No man should be watching them. And they talk about lawsuits. We don't want more lawsuits. I find it ironic because it's Democrats who sue states and sue Republican parties over congressional lines and apportionment and all those things that tie our U.S. elections up in lawsuits. It's their party, not ours. We're just fighting back, and we're going to protect every woman and girl, every single daughter in the United States, but particularly for our service members, our women in uniform. The Republican Party is the party of common sense. We're the party of normal. We're the party of women. Thank you, and I yield back.
Gentlewoman yields. The gentlewoman from California is recognized.
Thank you. I yield 2 minutes to the gentlewoman from New Mexico, Ms. Leger Fernandez.
Gentlewoman is recognized.
Thank you. Republicans have a series of amendments targeting trans people and the ability of service member parents to make decisions about the health care for their children. All of these amendments, including this one, do not do anything to make us safer or to honor our commitment to the servicemen and women who are willing to give their lives to this country. These amendments are part of a culture war that is intended to make Americans angry, divided, and fearful. They want to rename it the Department of War because they are in a war against the idea that the American life is something that includes all of us, that we can all belong. Their proposed facilities ban is a huge violation of privacy and would make all women and girls less safe. Will Republicans require menstrual monitoring, checking reproductive organs, as has happened, as my colleague pointed out? Girls and women who are tall, strong, and gender nonconforming are already being questioned and yelled at. Republicans seem to always want to dictate from D.C. what we can do with our bodies, and that's not freedom. I stand with all our service members, including our trans service members, who are willing to fight and die for our freedoms. I'm going to fight for their freedom to be who they are, to fight for an America where we all belong. We should not be at war with each other. We all belong. I yield back.
The gentlelady from New Mexico yields back. The gentlelady from California is recognized.
May I inquire how much time is left?
The gentlelady has 1.5 minutes remaining.
Thank you. I would just like to point out that I think it's very interesting that my colleague from South Carolina is so obsessed with the issue of trans people, using horrible slurs to talk about them, when many people in this body have received gender-affirming care. Filler is gender-affirming care. Boob jobs is gender-affirming care. Botox is gender-affirming care. Lots of my colleagues have received gender-affirming care, and let me be clear, I think everyone should have access to the gender-affirming care that they need, and I think we should respect everybody in this country. With that, I yield back.